This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
Bro, gnarly. What's up, Taylor? Dude, that nerd in his electric hybrid totally blew the light while texting his yuppie friends.
That's so bogus, bro. Are you hurt?
Yeah, like I can't move my hips, bro. I think I broke my pelvis, man.
Dude, no way.
Way.
Taylor, you need to drop a dime and talk with the lawyers at the Advocates Law Firm.
No way, can't afford that, bro. Your crotch is broken, man, and they don't earn any money unless they win your case. Dude, no way. You get injured, the advocates get results. Contact them today at advocateslaw.com.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, The Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
Unfortunately, what you're about to hear is real. The members of this radio program are simply not that bright, or what some people would call educated. They are merely stupid. They're not trying to offend anyone on purpose. And all have played doctors on TV. You have been warned and are cordially invited to join the party. This is the Men's Room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. You know what they say, shake your radio more than 3 times, and you're playing with it. You're listening to the Men's Room.
And away we go. Welcome to season 17, episode number 3676. Along with Steve the Thrill Hill, the Ted Smith, and Mike Hawk.
Montgomery!
Our the Men's Room. Let's have today Ryan Castle joins us. Once again, we will sit and spin now and steal other people's stuff. With 10 artists who were guilty of plagiarism. Ooh. We will play Profile This. Plus headlines, Men's Room Shot of the Day, fun listener emails, and everyone's favorite, TV Time with Ted.
Click, clack.
You're going to drunk. All right, here we go. Michigan man on probation arrested again after breaking into a store and stealing a ham and cheese. Meanwhile, a Florida woman beats her husband with a belt after his giggle stick he was trying to please. Sea lion in San Diego became famous after popping up on a highway now found in a storm drain. Brazilian man has 9 wives and somehow has never gone insane. And Man in Black, Johnny Cash, urinates and puts out a burning ring of fire. That is all coming on today's very special episode of The Men's Room.
And now, here's the question.
Hola, bitches. Good day to you and yours. All right, everyone has fallen asleep on their couch. My wife does it every night. I do it at least once every weekend. But a guy in Culiacan, Mexico, he was snoozing on a sofa earlier this week when a large hole suddenly opened in the floor. And he dropped about 15 feet into it. But it wasn't really in a hole per se. No, he landed in the drug tunnel that the local cartel had dug under his house. That's when he discovered that it was there. Another man, he fell 15 feet unexpectedly. But in his case, he was walking to a Detroit Tigers game last week. And as he walked over the Spruce Street pedestrian bridge, the concrete gave way, formed a hole. Well, the guy fell through and landed on the highway below. Believe it or not, he was not hit by any cars. But he did not see that coming. It could always be worse. You could be climbing majestic Mount Rainier and fall 80 feet into a crevasse, breaking your leg, and then have to wait hours for rescue because the weather sucks so bad. That happened about a week ago to 2 climbers. And not far from Rainier, in Tacoma, a man realized his Ford 350 was being stolen. He sprung into action, and when he spotted the thief in his truck, guess what? Yeah, he ended up getting injured when the thief rammed him with his own goddamn truck. Look, sometimes you just have an unexpectedly bad day, right? I mean, there's bad days, but there's days that are just so bad, you almost get numb to it. And that's kind of what we're talking about today. Today's question, when did your day go horribly wrong?
Be part of the big show. Call 206-421-ROCK. Like the Men's Room on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Men's Room Live. And send those emails to the Men's Room at KISW.com.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
Hey, all of Macholas, thank you so much for listening to the Men's Room Podcast.
And thanks to our pals at the Advocates Law Firm for being great partners. Yes, even you, creepy Kyle.
Seriously, though, if you'd been injured as a result of somebody else in your car, on your bike, walking across the street, talk to our friends at the Advocates Law Firm and let them help you out.
Yeah, they're the best injury lawyers around, and they want to make sure that you're not taken advantage of. Plus, your first consultation is free.
It's simple. You get injured, the advocates get results. Contact them today at advocateslaw.com.
Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to The Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
All Macholas, away we go. Welcome to Season 17, Episode number 3676 with a large and a charge program we have for you today. Guaranteed future repeat. Ryan Castle in the house today. Once again, we'll sit and spin and steal other people's stuff, like things in the refrigerator. But in this case, we go to the music world and 10 artists who are guilty of plagiarism. You listen to a song and you say, wait a minute, that sounds like something else I know. Or it sounds exactly like something else I know.
That's the real tip-off.
And then those people get sued. And then they have to pay a portion of the royalties to the original artist because they did not credit the original artist. It's kind of like, stealing a picture from somebody, stealing a painting from somebody, stealing a movie from someone. It's art, and you can't just steal it. And these artists went, you know what? I'm going to roll the dice and see what happens. And a lot of these songs, they're very popular. Mm-hmm. They're famous for a reason. They were good the first time around. They've just been redone.
Right.
Like anything else, typically you say, like, I am covering this song. Jimi Hendrix said, Bob Dylan did All Along the Watchtower. I'm going to do my own interpretation.
So that you can understand the lyrics.
Rusty Cage, it's Johnny Cash said, I'm going to do my own interpretation.
Are they covers or samples?
No, not even, like, basically, you wrote a song, all right? Mm-hmm. But your band, for whatever it is, it's not particularly popular. Miles, here's the song. Have you heard of that Ted Smith guy? I go, no. And he goes, great, because here's a great song. Our band is popular, but basically, if we take his, not your lyrics, but we're going to take your music, essentially, and we put out this massive hit song, well, then Ted Smith's kind of like, these sons of bitches heard me. Sure. I know this is my song. Yeah, they went to court, and they proved it.
I'm pretty sure that back in the day, between, Debbie Harry, Blondie, between Rapture and a couple of other bands at the time, they kind of, Sugar Hill Gang, they might have sampled each other's things, but they gave credit, I believe, at the time.
But they seem to have a trade-off on that. Like,
Sure.
Look, you can take some of our stuff, let us take some of your stuff. Just do what you can, right?
Yeah. But this is not the case on this. So we got 10 artists who were guilty of plagiarism and basically had to pay out in cash after going to court the original artists for some royalties on the stuff that they stole. Also today, we'll head on over to the Men's Room Happy Hour exclusively on the Odyssey app as we do Monday through Friday right here at 6 o'clock. If you don't have the Odyssey app, it is absolutely free. Download it now. And we go over to the Men's Room Happy Hour channel that only goes live at 6. Yeah, if you turn on that channel right now, there's not going to be any audio there. So just know we go live at 6 on the Men's Room Happy Hour channel. Keep in mind that as an adult-only segment, we prefer that the kids not be in the room on that one, as the same rules apply that do not apply on these airwaves. Don't apply there. So we're allowed to cuss. Content is a little bit different than everything else. And ladies and gentlemen, wouldn't you know it, of the Ted Smith, Mike Hawk back in the house today. Woo! Woo! Clear to the COVID. COVID-free. How do you guys feel about being back in the studio?
This is going to make my job so much easier, Miles.
You don't say.
What was the hardest part of broadcasting from home? Because I can tell you what it was for me, but what was it for you?
For me, broadcasting from home wasn't really the hardest part, just because I don't do a whole lot when it comes to dipping into the show midway. Most of my stuff is at the end of my own segment. The hardest part was the technical aspect, and there are things that are here at work that are only here at work. So I have to basically put them up into the ether of the internet, bring them back down onto my computer, fix it, put it back up to the ether of the internet, hack it on my computer here. Yeah, there you go.
How did you enjoy being at home, spending time with the fiancé?
It was wonderful.
You know what? Because you have to understand, when you're getting ready, one day you're going to retire, and you guys will be together, and you both won't have jobs. So just like COVID, you'll be at home together all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's when one of you picks up a part-time job at Home Depot.
Yeah, like I'll work anywhere.
It was the break that I needed, man. Honestly, all Saturday and Sunday, we just sat there we opened up the bed of the pull-out couch. We had the TV there in the living room. We just watched a crap ton of movies. Ate a bunch of junk. It was great.
It's kind of like a sleepover.
You're already sick.
Exactly.
Right? Like, eat garbage, watch crap.
Yes.
Were you were pretty well stocked, though. You looked like your refrigerator was full when you did meat and potatoes. Your freezer was full.
We were ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, you guys were. You had a full thing of beer. You had wine coolers.
You don't have much of an appetite when it comes to COVID anyway. So honestly, just the little snacks that you had. Luckily, we had some fruits and whatnot in the fridge, which really helped the healing process. But yeah, we didn't need to eat much as it was.
When I got COVID, it was a Sunday, probably Sunday or at noon. And I had been out of town all weekend. That's when I started feeling bad, Sunday at noon. So when I got home, I was going to go get beers with Ryan and Steve, and I'm like, you know what, guys, something's not right. I can't do this. But I had not.
Just to give you an idea of how this works, where we were practicing for the new originals, literally like 2 blocks away from your place, whatever. Miles obviously is always up for a drink. Me, Castle, and Miles drink often a lot together. Miles says, "Man, I don't feel good." As soon as we hang up the phone, Castle looks at me and goes, "He has COVID." Yeah. He said there is no other reason that man is not going to go 2 blocks to drink with us.
But I'm too late for the supermarket. And you know that thing where somebody opens up the cabinet and goes, the cupboard, and we got nothing to eat in here.
In spite of all of their food, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of did that. I got nothing to eat in here. Then I started to figure out, Miles, you got food. There's stuff that you can thaw out in the freezer. You can get through 5. And I did. I got through 5 days with relative ease. Ate a lot of the things that I put away that I meant to eat, months ago and everything else. And thought I was actually did a pretty good job. Don't get me wrong. I wish I had a full refrigerator full of stuff. But I ate a lot of stuff that I had made before. I
had a frozen tamale that had been in my freezer for months.
How was it?
It was good. Yeah, it was in a sealed package.
You never think to eat it.
No, I'm always like, I'll save them. And I was like, all right, I'll throw it in the air fryer.
Right. Oh, how good was that?
It was delicious.
I bet that was good, yeah. Okay. Men's Room Happy Hour is on the way. And today on our question, sometimes your day does not go as planned. And we start with a story out of Mexico. And Steve, I believe that you were in this vicinity just a few weeks ago.
No, it's a city that has the same name, but it's a different one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the story goes, an escape tunnel used by organized crime had an unexpected and no doubt startled visitor early Tuesday when a Sinaloa man fell into it while sleeping on his couch in his living room. A large hole suddenly opened up in the floor of the man's home due to the presence of the subterranean passageway below, causing him to drop into the tunnel in an event that must have seemed like a bad dream. The Sinaloan government said in a statement that an approximately 25-year-old man, I guess he has no idea how old he is,
Approximately 25.
I think I'm 25.
We're not going to ask. You look 25, dude.
Approximately 25-year-old man. I don't know, man. I'm not sure.
Give or take.
Tunnel, which the government said had been used as an escape route by members of organized crime, leads to a nearby house that was seized by the Army about 11 years ago. So this tunnel's been here for a while. And they estimate...
That makes sense, though, because El Chapo ran the Sinaloa cartel, and that was his thing.
Sinaloa is the main region where you're going to find this stuff. I just keep chuckling about it because he had no idea that they had tunneled under his house.
Yeah. They said the house is now being used as a garbage dump. And they said the tunnel is presumed to run beneath at least eight homes, and then it opens up into a canal.
Yeah.
All right. Several homes have sunk in due to the presence of the tunnel and do have structural problems in the neighborhood. Well, the governor, he dispatched his public works minister to the home where part of the living room floor collapsed to inspect the damage. Said that workers from his ministry would fill in the tunnel to avoid additional collapses in that home and those around it. The numerous narco tunnels used by cartels to smuggle drugs in the U.S. have been found on Mexico's northern border. So I'm going to assume that this was okay. Yeah, you know what? It's pretty close to Tijuana and the San Diego line.
Yeah, you're trying to go where your clientele is.
Exactly. They say, by the way, that the one that was discovered in that area in 2020 is the longest cross-border dug tunnel that has ever been found. So,
okay, so whether
that one was 1.5 kilometers long.
All right, here's my question, all right? Either
That's crazy.
I'm a member of the cartel or I'm a member of the DEA, all right? But either way, can I go to Guinness, right, and say, look, as far as world records go, it's the longest drug smuggling, because the chances are no one's really going to try to compete with you on that. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to get some like Russian dude like, Oh, comrade, my drug tunnel is much long, 27 miles. So I'm saying if you found it, I go to Guinness.
Do they have records for, like, alcohol drank? Because I don't know if they do records for drugs. Like, that would be weird. Like, here's, Chet Smith. He once snorted 5 8-balls at one party.
Right, and survived.
Record.
I mean,
he's the record.
But it should
I'm taking him down, man.
There has to be a dubious record place, right? Because a lot of times you will read, somebody got busted for DUI, but it's like, 8 times the legal limit, and they point out that as far as they know, right, like that is the record for going above the legal limit and still being alive. So I feel like somebody should keep stats on this. Like, all right, look, you don't want to be these people, but it's still an interesting read. Like, this is the drunkest anyone's ever been. This is the longest drug tunnel that we found.
Yeah.
This is the biggest pile of human waste that we found in a national park trail, right?
Mm-hmm. The longest sex session.
Yeah. Where orgasms are there. It's not like someone has arms folded.
Not just like you're taking a five.
Right.
You're going like the longest one time before the end of the game.
Yeah. I mean, I think that'd be more interesting than the guy that put 5
what do you think
M&Ms on top of each other.
What do you think it is?
Hour and a half, maybe.
I think it's longer than that.
Well, there's all that tantric sex stuff, right?
I bet it's like 4 or 5 hours.
But what do you if you're doing tantric sex and you're bragging
based on just the man alone?
Right. But if you're saying you can go that long, like what kind of time frame are you bragging about?
I'm not sure.
I would think you'd still have to stop it at some point.
I don't know anything about tantric sex. I really don't. Other than someone like Sting's like, I practice tantric sex. Great. What is it? Is it awesome? And also, is your wife happy about that? Like, you might want to have sex for 4 hours straight. She might not want to.
She's got to be part of the plan. You need a great partner to get this done.
You really do.
You need somebody who can be like, if you just say, like, just hold on for a second, give me a break here for a minute.
And then how do you explain it?
We gotta make this.
Do you think it's the thing where you call your wife goes, man, what have you been doing every Saturday night? You go, okay, here's the secret. For the last year, I've been training in tantric sex. Great news for you.
Yeah, I don't know.
So like the 5-minute nooners that we were having, all that, man, I wanted to save the surprise. Happy birthday, baby. We can have sex for 4 hours straight.
Yeah. I would never
how do you
make
spring that on someone, man?
All right. Our question today, when did your day go horribly wrong? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Alex. Welcome to the men's room.
How's it going?
Hola.
So this was, I don't know, about 10 years ago. I had finally got a call for my dream job. And, it was for Boeing at the time. And the day started off just not great. First thing was lock the keys in the car with the car running. Already running late for work. Then managed to get the car open. As I was driving to work, got pulled over for speeding, of course. When a cop pulled me over, he apparently smelled weed in the car.
Dream job.
Yeah. And I only smoked at nighttime at that point in time, never during the day. And so he had me get out, do field sobriety, everything like that. Passed all the tests with flying colors. So I'm like, all right, I'm good to go. I'm going to be able to get to work. No, go ahead, turn around, put your hands behind your back. We're going to take you to the station and pull your blood, and you'll be out in 24 hours. And I'm like, all right, well, can I at least call my work and tell them, I'm not going to make it? No, you'll get your phone call after you get down to the station. And, that's pretty much how it went. And luckily, the boss that I had at the time was understanding, and I ended up actually being able to save that job. But I had to come up with one hell of a story, because if I would have told them what really happened, they would have let me go on the spot.
How did your blood test come back?
Well, I had some in my system because I would smoke every night at nighttime.
Sure.
Because at the time I had beaten cancer. I was going through chemo. And I would smoke at night, but never in the mornings before work. And so I did have some in your system. But they said if it's over 500 nanograms that you're considered under the influence, which could be as small as a hit 2 weeks ago, would equal that much.
Then I'm always under the influence.
I was going to ask you how they judge that, because exactly. You're not high right now in the morning, but That stuff is in your system for 30 days.
Exactly. And that's actually how the lawyer was able to beat the case, because he's like, well, if that small amount could be in your system for weeks, how could you consider somebody under the influence at that exact point in time? So it ended up being a technicality, which, we ended up beating the case, but, I had to pay $5,000 to a lawyer to basically beat a case that never happened in the first place.
Well, yeah, you're not going to beat it for free, even if you're in the right. But, hey, man, it's better than not getting the job. And it is accommodating to have bosses that Ted did not show up for work one day when we're still in Baltimore. Right. And the boss kept saying, hey, man, where's Ted? And I'm like, dude, he called us earlier. He's not feeling well. So the boss kind of bought that. And then we had a separate friend who came in and was like, hey, man, I'm going to check Ted's house, because everyone just had the feeling Ted might be arrested.
Yep.
Ted got arrested. Right. The bosses found out later they didn't make a stink. When I got arrested, I missed the next day of work, which is and that's where your thought really goes, man. Like, sure. God damn it, man, I don't want to lose my job for this, especially when you're only in for a couple hours or overnight, whatever. My boss, super kind, even paid for the lawyer for me.
Really?
Yeah, because I told her what happened. She's like, that's BS. I go, no, I understand that. But I don't, you don't pay me enough that I can afford a lawyer, right? So it is good. If you do get arrested, it's cool to have bosses that let it go.
Well, it's tough for that guy, too, right? Because you could drink 3 beers at home, and then the next morning you'll be fine. But he's right. But you smoke
But on the first day of work.
Right,
on the very first your day already starts out. The reason you're late is because you're driving fast because you locked the keys in the car in the first place.
So you're already running late.
Now you're trying to make up time. Then, of course, you get popped on that one day. When did your day go horribly wrong? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Danny. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
Okay, so my day sucked because, my friend won tickets on Beat Migs to Megadeth and Scorpions.
All right.
And he had to go back to he moved back to where he came from and couldn't go to the concert. So he gave them to me, and I was super excited, preparing for months and months and months, so excited. Scorpions is who I wanted to see. And we were day drinking all day, having fun. It was at the Tacoma Dome, and rocking out to Megadeth. And at some point, I smoked a really strong joint, and I barely ever smoke weed anymore. So if I'm drinking and then I smoke weed, it ends up hitting me really hard. And so I smoked some weed, and next thing I know, Megadeth was done. And so I sit down, and I remember a couple people coming over, is she okay? Because I was standing up, jamming out the whole time, and then all of a sudden I just sat down. Well, I never throw up unless I force myself, if I just need to get it all out. I never can puke on my own, and I was bending down, just projectile puking on the floor. And my boyfriend at the time was we need to go, there's people, we need to get out of here. So we're walking up the stairs. He's holding my hand. We're both I'm following him up the stairs of the Tacoma Dome, and I'm puking the whole way up. I have no idea if it got on people or nothing. I was just puking. I couldn't stop the whole way up. We get up to the top, and I'm going towards the bathroom, and he's no, we need to go outside. So we go outside, and I'm puking, and I'm okay, let's go back in. Well, they don't let you back in.
No, they don't. No. Once you
no. Once you leave, look, they don't care why you leave, but they ain't letting your ass back in, man.
That's why you got to go to the bathroom and throw up.
Honestly, you can't go outside and do it. So you got to sneak cigarettes in the bathroom, all of it.
When did your day go horribly wrong? 206-421-ROCK.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
Oh, drat. I was driving along minding my own business when that vulgar leech hit my Beamer with his pickup truck. I fear I've fractured my clavicle.
I say, old boy, don't simply put it in the hands of your insurance company to sort it out. Talk with a dedicated row of solicitors at the Advocates Law Firm.
Pipe down, you old sod. The Advocates will see your case through to the bitter end and won't sleep a fortnight until they have victory in their grasp.
Jolly good, old man. Jolly good indeed. You get injured, the Advocates get results. AdvocatesLaw.com.
Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
Shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Eli Hides, he was on his way to a Detroit Tigers game a couple of Mondays ago when suddenly he found himself falling 15 feet to the ground below, where cars were traveling on the Lodge Freeway. According to the Associated Press, Hides was on the Spruce Street pedestrian bridge that crosses over Highway 10 when the concrete gave way and formed a hole large enough for the 36-year-old to fall right through. I remember thinking, I hope I'm not over the freeway. I land about 6 feet from the traffic. After I hit the ground, I get the wind knocked out of me pretty good, he said. Although the incident happened on May 9th, the bridge was still open for the public to use as of this past Sunday. It wasn't until the Detroit News reached out to the Michigan Department of Transportation about his story that they were made aware of the problem. People were just walking around it.
So the picture I saw today, there were orange traffic cones around the hole. You're telling me that they waited days before, and when you look through this hole,
to put the cones around the hole.
Yeah, and you're looking directly down at the highway. That is come on, Detroit.
The Spruce Street pedestrian bridge was built in 1953, and based on its age and condition, it is on a yearly detailed bridge inspection that is due this month, which is convenient. As for Hides, he said that after he fell through the concrete, he got up and informed police of the issue before continuing on to the game. He eventually went to the hospital a few days later. I'm a giant walking bruise right now, he said. Our question, when does your day go horribly wrong? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Becky. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hey, guys.
Hola.
Long-time listener, second-time caller.
Well, thank you. Welcome back.
Thank you. So, my bad/weird day was in high school. I was a junior, and it was like one of those days where everyone skipped school for whatever reason.
Right.
So, so my friend and I decided to go to Olympia to see my boyfriend at the time. We're driving there. I'm at a stop sign, and I accidentally pull out in front of someone and get in a wreck. And the guy is, like, flipping me off and cussing and all this stuff, so I get really scared and I just drive off.
Wait, you had a skip day in your junior year of high school, and basically you got into a hit and run.
No, but you were the one who hit the guy, and then you took off.
Yeah.
You didn't get into one. You caused one.
You created one. Maybe that's
that is the hit and run, right?
Yeah, she created the hit and run.
Dude, I was in the hit and run. It's like you got hit and somebody else took off. She's the one who did the hitting and the running.
Okay, and the story gets more weird. So we get up to Olympia, pick up the boyfriend, driving downtown, and all of a sudden we see all these people running out of buildings. We're like, what the heck is going on? And then it feels like I have a flat tire. Pull over, and an earthquake's going on. It's like the huge earthquake of 2002.
Oh, gee, the Nisqually quake?
Yeah. and then, so we thought that was crazy. Drive around, go to a store somewhere, and my ex is looking at the damage on my car, and he goes, your license plate is no longer here.
Uh-oh.
So, basically, the license plate fell off during the wreck, so I ended up getting caught.
How long did it take before the police contacted you?
About 2 days. They showed up at my school.
Oh.
That's bad. At least you were at school this time, which is good.
So, I ended up not getting into that much trouble because I felt threatened by the guy. But that was definitely one of the weirdest days of my life.
Wait. So, I mean, what do you mean not that much trouble? This had to go to court, I'm guessing?
Yeah, I went to court and got a lawyer and everything. And, because I felt threatened by the guy, I didn't get any charges.
Are you kidding me? Even though you fled the scene. Like, I understand, but it seems like the moment you flee a scene, things get a lot worse, you know?
It seems to me, from what I could tell, it seems like teenage girls in high school all seem to get in hit and runs.
Mm-hmm. but more on the running than the hitting.
Like, I'm related to one. I didn't know somebody else that's related to one. Now we're hearing this one. Like, are you guys all doing this?
Well,
I really lucked out.
You seem to find great entertainment in it.
Yeah, I mean, you got to laugh about it now, man.
Exactly. Why not?
God damn.
Yeah, that was like 20 years ago now. It was terrible at the time, but it's hilarious now.
So how many more accidents have you been in the last 20 years?
Oh, one or two.
One or
That's
two.
not bad.
And are you at the cause or are you the on the other end of things?
I think about half and half.
Okay. All
right, fair enough. You do check for your license plate. Now, do you stay at the scene if you're the cause?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
As long as you learned your lesson that way.
Yeah, that's I like the fact you left your license plate. Like, ooh, it all worked out. If we didn't leave that pesky license plate.
Kids do go run home, don't they? When did your day go horribly wrong? 206-421-ROCK.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I got in an accident when I was in high school.
Sure.
Me too.
Yeah, I feel like I'm pretty sure a driving instructor teacher told me that, like, basically, whenever you start driving within that first year, you're going to hit something.
You're going to hit something. And most people that age, right or wrong, and everyone acts like it's such a big thing, you know they're going to run.
First thing I did was run over the other car to make sure that those guys were okay.
I guess that's my issue. I know, like, it's just weird. I know 3 different girls that when they were teenagers did the same thing. I'm just like, huh. And it was in Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai.
Remember, like, the first season, Johnny gets hit by,
oh, that's right, yeah.
By Daniel's
random girl.
Teenage daughter and her friends, and they hit and run.
All right, so times have changed. You get older, but never hit and run. But then you add one small tweak to the equation, and I'm saying 85% of people run. The car you hit, there's no one in it. It's a parked car. You hit it, but you hit it going like 30. I don't mean you ding someone's bumper.
All right.
I'm saying for whatever reason, I don't know. Maybe you hit the gas by accident. It's a parking lot somewhere or parallel park, and you hit the single one 30, right? And you bust out all the backlights. There's minimal damage. Car's not totaled, but
so you're talking like parking lot stuff.
Yeah, but there's enough damage they'll notice as soon as they walk out. Do you leave a note?
Depends.
Do you leave a note? I would tell you right now, no. And
I've done it.
And
I've
I know
left
how
a
it
note.
sounds.
I've also not left a note. I've also been able to buffer out the paint. Right. If I just nicked a car real quick, I just got out with a rag real quick and buffered it.
But here's the difference. I feel like
buffered it.
If you ding someone's car, people are more apt to leave a note. Hey, man, really sorry, right? I don't know. The kid swung the car door open, smacked your door. There's a dent. My bad. You do legitimate damage. You know what I mean? You flatten their tire. You break out the backlight. I'm telling you, in my mind, 95% of people like nobody saw it. Don't leave a note.
And what do you do when you witness it?
I've witnessed it a few times.
Like if somebody just backs into somebody, you got to sit there and watch them write a note, or just be like, yeah, that sucks.
It depends on the severity of it. You know, I mean, if you date, we used to live. There's a lady we used to call the Blue Bomber when I was a teenager. Lived in Baltimore. Everyone parallel parked. It's just the way it was. But you know, everyone lives in these homes, and by the time you're going to bed, everyone knows everyone else's car because the only people parked there are neighbors. And this woman, she worked until like 10 o'clock at night or something, so she always got home later than most people. And she had this blue Chevy, like Cavalier or something, and you knew when she got home because you do.
She couldn't parallel park.
She couldn't parallel park, but she would make room. Like, if there were 2 inches to spare, she would make her car fit. So my father would intentionally park cars in different places where we knew she wouldn't be. But no one really complained. She wasn't old enough to get away. Not only she was 90 years old. She was maybe 50, right? But you got so used to it, no one complained. When I lived in Belltown, my wife and I, we would take great pleasure, because we had a corner unit, had a balcony, right? And we'd take great pleasure at about 1:45 every morning on the weekends. You would hear the woohoo and the yeah, right? And we always called it the drunken mating call. And we'd watch people get into the car, stumble down the street, whatever it is they're doing. But we saw a guy, he gets in his car, and he is hammered. And he slams into like 3 other cars. Then he's trying to drive away, but he's messed up his car so bad, it's not going to work. He gets out of the car, takes off on foot. And luckily, a bunch of other people that were down there managed to chase his ass down, beat the piss out of him until the cops got there. But in that case, we did write down his license plate. No, before people managed to jump on him. So again, if you ding a car, I'm like, Don't worry about it, man. If you take a mirror off, okay.
Right, I'm thinking more like a parking lot, right? Like a grocery store. Mm-hmm. See somebody back into somebody else. It's like...
I see it all the time.
Oh, dude, I've definitely woke up in the morning and saw where somebody hit like 4 cars on my road.
Right. All the mirrors are gone.
Down. Boom, 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 boom. Like, oh, that's not good. Somebody's got a flat tire. Somebody's got no mirror. Somebody's got a big scrape.
And I always see kids, little kids they struggle with the concept of to open the car door slowly. So you go to the grocery store, man, they just, bam! I mean, just hit everyone's car. And I'm like, let it go.
When did your day go horribly wrong? 206-421-ROCK.
Hello, Nick. Welcome to the men's room. Hello, Nick.
Hola. Nick. And he's gone.
I'll put him back on. It sounds like he was there. A couple of comments have come in. It says, I've been in a couple of accidents here and there, but my sister was such an S driver, I had to pay higher rates because of her. That sucks. Someone here says, Ted, didn't you dine and dash and almost hit someone?
True.
Hey, but to be fair, this was not someone in the vehicle. This was just a guy standing in the parking lot. It's not like hitting another vehicle.
Yeah, those license plates are pesky.
If you had hit him, right, and you're just like, oh, God, and it goes over top of your car, do you think you just kept going?
I have no idea. I mean, that was such a spur of the moment thing.
No, I like everyone knows I would like you don't know that.
Got it.
You'd like to think you would, but in those moments of panic, man, I'd like to think I would. Or do you think you would have at least returned, right? Like he goes over the hood and you're like, I think we're going to gun it. Maybe the next day you're like, man, I got to fess up. I got to say something.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to think I would have. Right. It's hard. It's at 41. I can't imagine doing it, period.
You do a lot of different things.
But we definitely did it, yeah. Maybe, I don't know. Now I'm just going to talk my way out of it. Hey, he was already leaning right. He was getting out of the way.
When did your day go horribly wrong? 206-421-ROCK.
Well, let's see. My day went terribly wrong when I asked a girl out in college, and she said yes. I was totally broke, had no plans. We went to eat, and I'd ask her to pay. Yeah. I was broke, so no movie, no drinks. She invited me back to her place for a drink. She invites me to sit on the couch next to her, and I left. I get the feeling I had a shot to get lucky, but of course did not. That was 35 years ago. Still my worst date ever.
That's a bad date.
Yeah, I don't understand what else she had to do.
Man, look, I don't care who you are. When I go back years ago in my life, right, and you just suck with chicks, and looking back, I'm like, this chick made it so other than just saying, I want to sleep with you, right? Everything other than that, and somehow you've convinced yourself that can't possibly. Would you like to go back to my place?
What was the reason that you did not think that was legitimate?
Well, let's see. There was this hot redhead, and we went to a party that her and her roommate were throwing. There's probably 20 people there. Me and my buddy Leon are invited. We go. As soon as we walk in, she ignores everyone else. I'm sitting in a chair. They had a fireplace going. And she comes over, sits on my lap. Right. Already, right, at this age, I recognize what's going on. Oh, not old thrill. Used to like that. I guess she likes me as a friend. I mean, you don't piece this together. All right. Do you know how much ass we all probably missed out on because you just can't connect?
Do you really want to know? Because I don't. Mine was this. Mine was 12 years.
12 years.
12-year age difference.
Okay.
So I was about 19, 18 years old. I did not understand
what was
going on.
6?
No, she was 30.
I'm just making sure.
It didn't seem like it was just she was a teacher. I just didn't.
But looking back, what were the obvious? I mean, like I said, this chick sat on my lap. She invited me to the party, and I'm still like, this can't know.
Everything. She was like the director of, maybe like something that rhymes with like the Fred Moss.
Okay.
In the area, like I just didn't think it was possible. I was working at a radio station.
Even though
I went to an event, like I was working in a booth, right? So she is there with all her people. She is the director of all this stuff.
Yeah, sure.
There are kids there. There are people there my age that are volunteering and are helping with the organization. I just didn't think it was the head of the organization, which was our partner.
For whatever. I get you. Yeah, you team up to do something.
And then after that, I didn't realize it. I thought there was a chance with some of the people that she managed.
Yeah,
but not with her.
But looking back, all the signs were clear, right?
In hindsight, yes, but I still couldn't get past the age because I didn't think that was. I didn't think that was something that she was interested based on the age difference, which to me then seemed like a lot more than as you get older and it doesn't matter.
Well, sure.
Right. At that age, right, it seems massive.
It does, because I just became an adult. So I don't really, not mentally, but age-wise.
How long did it take you before you realized, like, for me, it was maybe, actually, when we left that party, where I did not get laid, even though and she was hot, and I liked her, and she did everything she could to let me know that, to tell me, Leon, I thought he was going to beat me up that night. He's like, are you that stupid? I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, dude, that chick likes you. I'm like, ow, I don't know.
So about a year later, yes, all right? But just to let you know now, she's married to one of my parents' friends.
Oh.
Ooh. Right. Because my mom was 20, so you have to remember, when she had me. And that's 12 years. It's kind of like in their zone more than mine. That's why.
Sure.
I didn't.
Still, man, looking back, there's always the one that's real obvious.
Married the Nissan King of the tri-state area.
I mean, it's tough, though, too, right? It's like, I mean, that's why there's Monday morning quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know many people that can't look back at a situation and go, oh, it was right there, and I missed it completely.
Or just the difference is, you know,
it seems like it's also so few and far between the times when people really do like you that you're not even sure. It's not a normal occurrence. Like, why in the hell would anybody like me?
Well, you talk about Leon being pissed at you. I have one when I was living in Baltimore with a girl, and like, it's like we're having a party. We're having like a Christmas party. Like I didn't realize at the time, me and this girl are the only ones dancing at the party. It's like slow dancing.
Come on, man.
Yeah, I know.
No, she was on my lap. I get it. I'm not here to criticize.
And then, I walk out, and like, I didn't even think about it. I was like, I don't know, man. Like, maybe I was too hammered or whatever. But everybody's like, the next day, they're like, you are an idiot. They're like, you could hear the record scratch, and she's just standing there, and you just take off and then come back 5 minutes later. It's like, they were pissed.
Dude, there was a
They didn't let me live that down for like months.
I saw you at Seafair, like 15 years ago or something. And I mean, a dime is down by the water. I don't know what kind of game you were throwing, man, but she was all about that. And there was a group of like 8 of us, whatever. And, you know, she kind of joined up from another group. But like her and Ted, you guys hit it off. And then at one point, you two are sitting at the end of the pier, right?
Yeah.
At the water. The rest of us are pulled back a little bit, kind of doing our thing. And we're like, Ted's got this. And I remember at some point you came up like, all right, man, what do you guys want to do? We're like, where's the girl? Like, oh, no, she was cool. We're like, Ted.
She disappeared.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Oh,
you never saw again after that, did you?
No. She was smoking hot.
Evaporated like she wasn't even real.
Miles, those kind of hot chicks only are on those docks at Seafair. The rest of the year, I don't know where they go.
When did your day go horribly wrong? 206-421-ROCK.
This podcast is brought to you by the Washington State Department of Health. As we continue to listen, learn, and grow, we are amplifying Black voices and perspectives in an effort to start a new COVID-19 vaccine conversation. We're sharing stories intended to help us navigate this unprecedented time together and to co-create solutions in support of the Black community. Hear these stories at weconsiderwa.org.
Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
$20 million, $19 million, $6 million. These are all awards recovered for clients of Phillips Law Firm. To win big, you have to fight big. And Phillips Law has been fighting the too-big-to-fail insurance industry for decades. Not every case will have a multi-million-dollar outcome, but Phillips Law will fight just as hard to recover the outcome you deserve. If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident or on the job, call or click today at 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.